Well, the Conservative Party Deputy Chairman Michael Fallon joins us now from his constituency in Sevenoaks. The ministerial code is clear. Ministers are responsible for the actions of their special advisers. Jeremy Hunt's special adviser has quit and his actions have been declared inappropriate. Why hasn't Jeremy Hunt quit too?
Because all we've had so far is one side of this story. The evidence that's been presented to Lord Leveson and his inquiry has been presented by the Murdoch PR man, and Jeremy Hunt hasn't yet had the opportunity to present his side of the story.
That's irrelevant to my question. My question is about the behaviour of the special advisor, which Jeremy Hunt admits was wrong. He is accountable for that behaviour.
Just hang on a moment. The special advisor has admitted that his own behaviour was wrong. However, there is no allegation as of yet that Jeremy Hunt has broken the ministerial code.
But the ministerial code is clear
before
that he is accountable for the behaviour of the special advisor. Is he accountable or not?
Well, of course he's accountable. He's accountable.
So why is he still there?
For his performances. Just let me answer these questions. First, he's accountable, of course, to the Prime Minister of the day for the operation of his department and his special advisers. But at the moment, we've only heard one side of the story. And the evidence that he's now going to present to Lord Leveson will be tested under oath in front of a full judicial inquiry, which, by the way, everybody agreed to, Labour agreed to its terms of reference, and which Lord Leveson himself said is the better course now to proceed. Now,
you've had to change your position now, haven't you?
No, not at all. It's always been clear that any decision on whether the ministerial code has been seriously breached or not, of course, is a matter for the Prime Minister. But there's no point having two separate investigations running alongside each other. We've got a judge-led, full-scale inquiry going on at the moment, and the evidence can be tested under oath in front of a very senior judge. And if anything from that needs following up in terms of the ministerial code...
Why is there no point having an investigation into the ministerial code when Lord Leveson isn't looking at the ministerial code?
Well, he will be looking at these allegations that have been made. He will be looking at whether or not proper process was followed in the B-Sky B affair. He will be looking at that. That's what the evidence from Murdoch's PR man is all about.
But he's not looking at the ministerial code, is he? He's just said that last night.
No, what he has said last night, if you look at his words, is that he's not going to judge, and nor should he. He's not going to judge whether the code was breached or not. That's a matter for the Prime Minister. But there is now this opportunity to get all the evidence out there, and I know everybody's impatient for that, but there are a number of politicians who are going to appear in front of the inquiry, including politicians from other parties, former ministers, and so on. And that evidence will be tested in court in front of a very senior judge. And if it transpires from that there are serious charges to answer in terms of the ministerial code, then of course that can be followed up. But what we need to avoid, I think, is two separate parallel investigations that could preempt what Lord Leveson is doing and completely duplicate his work.
What would Jeremy Hunt have to say at Lord Leveson's inquiry to trigger a further investigation?
Well, I'm not going to speculate on what he's going to say. He's made it clear to Parliament that he believes he's acted throughout with complete propriety. Hypothetically, if that turned out in any way not to be true, then of course there would be questions to answer and Lord Leveson would investigate those.
Because what Labour says is that Jeremy Hunt misled Parliament. He went to Parliament and said, these are all the communications between my office and News Corp. And then last week we suddenly discovered that there were all these other communications between his special advisor and News Corp, which he'd never admitted to before. Is that the kind of thing that could prompt further investigation if that is confirmed?
Well, if you check the record, you'll see that Jeremy Hunt actually cleared up that particular point last year as to what he meant by publishing all the documents and the information. Labour had the chance to question Jeremy Hunt last Wednesday. Harriet Harman made rather a mess of it. And Jeremy Hunt, don't forget, of course, remains accountable to Parliament. But the best person to weigh all this evidence is the judge. He's a very senior judge. It'll be done under oath. All that evidence will be tested in court. You can't hide from the Leveson inquiry. You've probably been listening to it and watching it this week. It's a very open, transparent process from which nobody can hide.
The trouble is,
if there then flow questions about the code, those can then be followed up.
But you keep saying this is best judged by the judge, The judge has made clear last night that he's not going to judge the ministerial code. Your line is behind the facts.
No, it isn't. He is going to weigh the evidence and take evidence from Jeremy Hunt on all these issues. What he can't do as the judge at the end of that is assess whether or not the ministerial code has been breached. That's always been a matter, in the end, for the Prime Minister on advice. But as we've got a full-scale judicial inquiry already underway, to which Labour agreed, they agreed the terms of reference, it's surely better, as Lord Leveson has said, to allow that inquiry to proceed. And then if it follows from that, and of course Jeremy Hunt has not had the chance to put his side of the case on these specific allegations, if it follows from that there's anything to do with the code that needs further investigation, that will then happen.
Michael Fallon, thank you very much for joining us.